Here's a sentence I never thought I would say. Now it's time to talk about the Lupita Nyong'o, Josh Gad, made-for-Hulu Australian zombie film. I'll let that sink in. So yeah, hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle.
This is post-Shriek Out reaction. We're still in the middle of Horror Comedy Week. That's what this is. Mm-hmm. And this is a movie that people were telling me to check out. And I'm glad they did, because there was no way I was going to watch this any other way, because it was a made-for-Hulu movie. And made-for-Hulu movies, you know, they kind of run the gambit. There aren't a lot of them. It's not like Netflix where they're just pumping stuff out constantly. Yeah. But yeah, I haven't seen a lot of made-for-Hulu stuff that really impressed me all that much. But everybody kept saying that this was great. And then I found out that Lupita Nyong'o was in it. And I spent the first half of this film going, how the hell did they wrangle Lupita Nyong'o into being into this? Because it wasn't bad. But Lupita Nyong'o is, you know, she's in Black Panther. She's got that Marvel money coming in. She's got an Academy Award. Like, one of the first things she ever did, she got an Academy Award for. So, yeah, she is a big deal. And she's in this zombie film made for Hulu where she's not even the star of it. She is she's not a bit player, but she is the
secondary character.
She is second build is what I was looking for. To the guy who was in Gods of Egypt and Alien Covenant, which who would have thought that when your agent comes to you and says, all right, so I got you a made-for-Hulu movie, I got you the next Alien film, and I got you a big summer blockbuster movie. Who would have thought that the made-for-Hulu film was going to be the one that'd be like, oh, now I want to see more of this guy. Oh, I'm paying attention to this guy now. But yeah, what this film is about is that it is about this guy who is a complete loser.
A complete douchebag.
Yes, which that comes back around. You know that reference if you've seen the movie. But yeah, he is just, I've talked about this many times before, but I hate horror films that make their protagonists assholes. And I feel like a lot of them do that so that way we won't feel bad as the audience when they're in trouble. Which typically the protagonist isn't the asshole. The protagonist is like the one nice guy in the movie, and everyone around them is an asshole. So that way we want the protagonist to survive, but we don't care about anyone else. I always hate that. This is maybe one of the worst protagonists. Not like just characters, but specifically protagonists I have ever seen in a horror film. I hated this man at the beginning. He is off. The things that he is doing in the beginning of this film, it makes you cringe looking at in the beginning of this. And not really in like the, oh, he's an evil man. It's just that you're an asshole. You're just a, sack of shit. Like, the thing opens up with him and his girlfriend. Like, it's just a montage.
Of them arguing.
Yes. Non-stop. And I was like, okay, so they're probably not, like, the characters we're going to follow. This is because Lupita Nyong'o is in this film. We're going to be following her, obviously. I kept thinking, like, this is going to be something about how, like, you know, maybe the zombie virus gets caused by shitty behavior or something, like kind of like that thing that we saw for Shudder a few years back, the thing starring the guy from The Walking Dead and Voltron, the thing about the office building that gets taken over by the rage virus.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting thing. So I was looking at this because there's just a montage of these people just arguing nonstop, and I looked at them and went, who the hell are you guys? You're not on the poster. I don't know who you people are, and I don't want to follow you. You're being complete sacks of shit. So I thought, okay, so this has to tie into like the zombie virus and so on. No, it's just saying up this is a terrible human being in a terrible relationship. And he is just a slayer. He starts mooching off his sister after his girlfriend kicks him out. And he's teaching his nephew like all these terrible lessons, letting him play zombie games.
And cursing in front of him.
And his little nephew is one of the sweetest kids I've seen in a horror film. He is kind of like the kid from Jerry Maguire. Like did you know the human head weighs, like he's just a book of facts. Just loaded with information. Just this super sweet little adorable kid. And it's made in Australia, so he's a super sweet, adorable Australian kid. And anytime that you give a kid an Australian or a British accent, instantly makes him more likable. But the sister is just like, listen, you either get out of the house or you step up and you start helping out. And this comes after the boyfriend finds out that, our protagonist finds out that he's no longer the boyfriend because the girlfriend has now officially moved on. And he is at his lowest. He's like, no, I don't want to. I'm sorry. So he goes, all right, I'll help out. So he starts taking the kid to
his school, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's not preschool, but he's like...
I don't know how Australian schools...
Yeah, I don't know how their
system
is. But this kid, he's like 5, 6 years old, I'd say around that age. But he starts taking him to school, and he meets all the other kids at school, and all the other kids at school give his nephew crap. Partly because, he's a little bit of an oddball because he's so smart.
Yeah, but also, he has food allergies.
He has food allergies, yeah, which, that's coming back around. And he then ends up meeting Lupita Nyong'o, who is...
the teacher.
Yeah, but her name was Caroline, Miss Caroline, because that actually comes back in a song later on. But he meets her, and he instantly is like, oh my God, like hard eyes, like, da, 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 like music playing. And he just is head over heels for her. So he does what every shitty protagonist in a movie does when they have a crush on someone that's way out of their league. Start lying. Just instantly starts. I was like, oh yeah, I do all this stuff for the kids. And oh yeah, well, I'm very helpful with children. And this guy's in a band and he keeps talking nonstop about how, oh, I'm only doing this until my band takes off. Yeah, I'm just doing this until the band takes off. Band's gonna be great. And this is like, your band broke up years ago. It's just been you on a street corner, like nonstop. And his band is called God Sledgehammer. He's wearing a shirt with it on there. And Lupita Nyong'o's like, oh, is that a Christian band? No. Oh, because I'm a Christian. I mean, yes. Like, the line is that blatant. You almost feel bad for Lupita Nyong'o because you're just like, how do you not see that he is just lying continuously to you about this stuff? Because he's not even really trying to hide it. I was not feeling this movie in the first half hour. Yeah,
me neither. It's like the title of the movie is Little Monsters, so I thought like the kids would be infected with the zombie virus, and the adults would have to like do something like there would be parents who would have to force themselves to like kill off their own kids or something.
Like I said, when he gets to the school, he's meeting all the other kids, and they're all just being shitbags to his adorable little nephew. Like, the nephew is good. You've known this kid for a couple minutes now, and you know that he is all right. He's great. All the other kids are so mean to him that you're just like, oh yeah, they're all gonna die. They're all gonna turn to zombies, and it's gonna be him having to kill all these little kids. I thought it was gonna be like Cooties, which we saw a couple years ago, and when I brought it up to you, you're like, I don't even remember that film, which is understandable because it is not a memorable movie. It is a fine film, but basically is a film starring Elijah Wood and Dwight from The Office, sorry that I'm not remembering his actual name, and it's about them being teachers and they hate the kids at their school. The kids get infected with the zombie virus, so now it's the teachers having to kill off all these students. I was like, oh, it's going to be that, but even younger kids. Okay. No, that is not what this is. Like I said, for the first half hour of this film, I was not feeling this thing at all.
I wasn't either, and I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that it took so long to get to the zombie stuff.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I thought to myself, is this supposed to be a horror movie? Or is the title Little Monsters just like a metaphor or something?
I mean, I saw the title cover of this thing on Hulu, and it's Lupita Nyong'o with the ukulele, like going, yay! And there's monsters, zombies all around her, so I went, I know zombies are coming. I know it's happening. But it takes a good, decent chunk of time to get there. And they go to this petting zoo, and at the petting zoo, there's also Josh Gad, who is this guy, he is this children's entertainer. You see that the nephew has got all this stuff. All the kids have a backpack themed around this guy, which comes back around for a great joke later on that I won't spoil. But he is just being this, hi there, kids, like this silly, goofy, friendly guy. And what happens is that we then cut to just like a few miles down the road, there is a U.S. Army base.
Of course it's a U.S. Army base.
That's one interesting thing about this film, is seeing a film made by another country that talks about, like, yeah, we just happen to have U.S. Army bases,
Well, to be fair, there are U.S. Army bases all over the world.
I know. What I'm saying is, we don't talk about that here in America, so it's interesting to see, like, another country out there making a movie where they're just like, yeah, this is a thing. We don't know what what this other country in our country with a military base is doing behind. We don't know what's up with that. So they're doing zombie experiments, and the zombies break out. They make their way to this petting zoo, and they start just killing everyone there. And then this film actually becomes something really unique. Mm-hmm. Because this is something I have always said about zombie films that have a little kid in it, or any horror film that has a little kid in it. I always look at that little kid and just go, that little kid is doomed. not doomed as in like they're gonna get killed. I mean, they will never lead a normal life. They are going to have the most traumatic upbringing. They are going to be tormented for the rest of their life by nightmares about the things that they've seen. This film then becomes Lupita Nyong'o and this, which by the way, I know I pronounced her last name like several times, in several different ways throughout this. That's just me being mush-mouthed. So if you've watched this channel long enough, you know I never pronounce any word correctly. But her and the slacker asshole uncle.
Well, I think is his name David?
Yes, thank you. It's Miss Caroline and David. They have to protect these kids, but they have to kind of like protect them mentally as well. So they're spending the entire time like, this is just a game. Come on, kids, come on. Let's do the conga line. Come on, let's do the conga line. And there's like a sequence of them having to like lead like the kids, like all holding hands. Like, yeah, follow the leader. Come on, follow the leader. Like it's a game, yay. Mm-hmm. Well, as all these zombies just, and she's turning around going, okay, kids, you know tag? You all know how to play tag? Well, all those scary people out there, they're it. And you can't let the people who are it touch you, can you? No. And so it's all these kids, they legitimately think they're just playing a game this entire time. And I love that about this film. Because as I said, that's something that's always bugged me that, yeah, that kid, I mean, a kid sees someone get ripped up in front of them, they're never going to be the same again. This is, Miss Caroline and David having to make sure that they don't see any of that stuff and having to make sure that they think that this is all just a game, and they make their way to like the gift shop, and they're inside the gift shop, and inside the gift shop is Josh Gad, and Josh Gad, you kind of know what's going to happen to him. He instantly goes, screw that, I'm a celebrity, it's all about me, fuck them kids. And it almost reminded me of Dead Rising. Like, if anybody out there has played Dead Rising, you know the zombies are only part of the threat in Dead Rising. The boss fights in Dead Rising are other human beings who have snapped and just become maniacs and just gone completely nuts. And that's kind of what this film becomes, because there are moments where Josh Gad is going off at them, and I looked at him and just went, he really feels like he's about to like just start juggling chainsaws, and we're about to get into a boss fight right now. And I gotta say, this is one of my favorite Josh Gad performances. I mean, Josh Gad is a very one of my favorite comedic performances, because he's done a few like semi-serious roles before that I thought, oh man, you've got some range in there that nobody lets you show off. When it comes to his comedy stuff, he typically always does just awful things. Not like, he's not awful, but he's in awful things where he's forced to play something awful. Here I was like, man, it is weird seeing Josh Gad just let out like a string of obscenities, which he may curse more in this movie than I have ever heard any character curse in any film in my entire life. And what makes that more messed up isn't just that he's cursing, it isn't just that he's doing it in front of kids, it's that he's Olaf. For anybody who doesn't know, Josh Gad is Olaf in Frozen, and there's a bunch of 5- and 6-year-olds in this film. You know, some of them got on set and the parents were just like, that's the kid, he plays the snowman in Frozen. Yeah, you know him. And he's like, hi, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm gonna have to swear a lot, so don't do the things that I do. And he has to get up there and it's like, you motherfucking filth fuck bags, you fucking like bleep, 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 bleep. I don't even feel comfortable saying all the things that he says directly at these little children.
But like, what even makes it funnier is like his character on TV teaches kids the bad word song whenever an adult says something.
Bad word, you have to sing the bad word song. So he is just going off, and then like every time that goes off, the little kids just go, bad word, like just start singing the bad word song. It's actually really freaking cute. But like I said, Lupita Nyong'o, for the first half of this, I kept looking at her going, you are being wasted in this movie. I mean, you are a big deal. Why are you second billed in a film where, don't get me wrong, she's doing a good job. Like, you buy her as being a teacher that genuinely cares about these kids. She's doing a great job in that. Mm-hmm. But man, like, we know that you can go up to 100, and this movie is restraining you at 50. When are we gonna get to see the rest of this? And there comes a moment where she has to go up to Josh Gad, and she just gives him a speech of, listen, you motherfucker, if you do anything to ruin this for these children, I will cut off your fucking... Like, she just goes off on him.
Like, didn't
and
she...
And is this stone cold, like... she has got him in an embrace and whispering this in his ear, and she's got this stone cold, like, dead stare ahead.
Like, didn't she have, like,
she's stabbing him, too.
Yeah, like, threatening him, like, with a sharp object. It's like, you do this, and I will stab you.
I honestly thought we were going into Walking Dead territory, where she was actually going to kill him, and, like, go, and he's just sleeping, kids, and, like, put him behind, like, the checkout booth or something. So I was like, oh, he had to step out for a moment. Don't go over there, children. I thought she was legit going to kill him. She doesn't. But, man, she is such a good actress that in that moment where she was threatening him, I went, oh, now we're seeing what you can do. Here we go. This is why you got an A-class actress for this role. Okay, now.
And then it steps up afterwards because the little kid gets food allergies.
Okay.
But she...
Yeah, all right. We're gonna start spoiling a couple things.
A little bit.
We're not gonna get into the really big stuff, but just warn you guys. Just to give you the general overview, first half hour, I was not feeling this movie. After this thing escalates heavily, and I really enjoy this. This is on Hulu. Check this thing out. If you got Hulu, you got nothing to lose. You've already paid for it. So yeah, go ahead, check this thing out. So yeah, let's go. But yeah, the moment earlier on in this film in which they are showing David, in which the sister is showing David, all right, here's how you administer his EpiPen in case he starts having a food allergy. This is how you do it. And she goes, all right, make sure that the blue point is pointing up, that the red part is going to his thigh, and that the orange part is going to his thigh. The moment that she explains that to him, you know, he's gonna fuck this up. Like, you know, the moment that she tells him this is how you do it, there's going to come that scene where his food allergies act up, and he's going to mess this up. Like, you see that scene coming a mile away, but of course he screws it up. And he goes, wait, he's got a backup one in his bag on the tractor that we all had to escape from. And then there's like a sequence of Lupita Nyong'o having to go out there and get to the tractor to get this thing, of her just having to slice open zombies on her way to save this kid. But that's not the really impressive part of this. The really impressive part is David there with his nephew. And like, it's all right, mate, just breathe. And then the other kids are like, is there something wrong with him? He's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay. Well, what's his favorite song? And then it's like, they tell him a song that we know that he hates from earlier in the film. He goes, okay, well, how does it start? And he starts trying to sing along with it to him. That scene, even though you see it coming a mile away, is so tense. Because David is acting his ass off. And man, again, I looked up this guy's resume after seeing this film. He has been in nothing but shit, and I am so glad that he got to be in this film. Because he got to be in something that shows up. No, he can do good stuff. Let him be in more things. Yeah, that sequence is great.
Yeah, it's definitely like the moment where he changes his character. Like he starts to develop, like become a better person.
And I mentioned he starts off as one of my least likable protagonists in any horror film I have ever seen. By the end of this film, I was like, if he dies, I will legit burst out in tears. I am not even kidding. Because there's going to come that moment where it looks like he's in danger. And there comes that moment in which he has to go and do the thing so that he can help everybody escape. And like the little kids, and his nephew's like, Uncle David, are you gonna be okay? Don't go, Uncle David. And I could feel the preemptive tears coming on. Because of just thinking about, oh God, what if something happens to this guy? And over the course of this, it's not just because the kids like him, he makes himself likable to the kids. He steps the fudge up in this film.
Yeah, when he sees his nephew having the food allergy, he realizes, oh, you could die and I would regret everything. I am so sorry for being such a douchebag to you.
You see him go through his entire... He goes through the entire course of... I was going to say, what was that movie with Jimmy Stewart and It's a Wonderful Life? He has an entire Wonderful Life level of character growth within the course of a 5-minute sequence. But you believe it. You absolutely believe that he is going through that level of character growth at this moment. And then there's a moment later on that night in which all the kids are asleep and Catherine and David, Caroline and David.
I think her first name is Audrey.
Audrey, thank you, yes. In which Audrey and David, they're up and they're just talking about their past and about the stuff that they've been through. And they have such a great bonding moment in there. And you see David growing more in the moment. This is a film in which, after he starts growing, every scene and every interaction that he has is another level of character development for him. And that is something that you can barely say about any movie out there. And it's so impressive to me that, like, it just speaks to the writing of this film. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like all the writing is great in this thing. Like I said, the beginning first half hour of this thing, it's kind of rough at times. But it is stunning to me that almost every single thing that happens to this guy, every interaction, every line of dialogue, every action that he makes out of that, it's a level of care. It shows him growing as a human being. But you believe it. It doesn't feel forced. Like, there was a moment in which he has to go outside and rescue Josh Gad's character, and Josh Gad just breaks down and just goes, I've fucked every single mom at every single show I've ever been to, and he just goes on about this weird, horrible celebrity life he's had. This guy spent the last 6 years trying to make this non-existent band of his happen so he can be that rebellious guy. And you kind of get that, and you see him, like, listening to the story that this guy is giving, and they never stop. They never have him go, like, oh yeah, man, maybe I was almost like you. They have him, like, talk about, like, wanting to, be a celebrity and stuff like that, but they never really get that deep into it. But you can tell in that moment that he's kind of looking at it like, oh man, is this kind of how I've been behaving? And you can tell, like, he's growing in that moment. Yeah, it's really impressive. This guy, it's fantastic watching his character grow during this film. I'm trying to think about what else we can say about this thing before we get into, like, heavy spoiler stuff in here. All the kids in here, again, the kids are great actors in this, and it's really impressive that, like, they're very young children. Excuse me, heartburn. I get heartburn when I get too excited about a movie. But yeah, normally you think of, like, child actors, you think of, they don't typically start until, like, around, like, maybe 10 years old or something. But these kids, they are, like, you buy that they are maybe like kindergartners, and yet there is, like, the nephew in here is reciting these big complex lines, and I'm just like, I can't even do that. I'm a full grown-ass man. That's impressive. But also speaking about story structure in here and just the writing in here, there are so many things that come back around in here. There are so many things that come back. And again, it's kind of like the scene with the EpiPen. It's kind of like the scene with his food allergies. You know they're coming if you're paying attention. It's not like they hide it. It's not like they make any of the things that come back around subtle. But oh my gosh, they pay off so well that I don't care. I don't care if I see it coming. Did it work? Yes. Like, there's a thing with the nephew where he loves tractors, and one of the very first scenes, they're at the dinner table, and this is back when David is being a complete asshole, and the nephew is talking about tractors, and then he looks over, and he's got a toy tractor in a chair on a stack of books with a plate of food in front of it, like it's his imaginary friend is this toy tractor. This kid is kind of obsessed with tractors, and you're like, that's such a weird thing to give him. But it's a thing you can believe a kid being into?
Yeah, I mean, like, little kids will, like, they love trains and cars, so it's like, it's not
I
that
liked trucks
far,
when I was a kid. Yeah, you totally buy that this kid would be into tractors. The tractor thing 100% comes back around. And it's not like they made this kid into nuclear fusion or something where it's like, what? I'm really into big, complexes, pieces of machinery that can only be used in this specific thing that would never come up. Oh, it comes up. No, this kid is into a thing that you can buy kids being into, and they are in a location where there may or may not be a tractor that you may or may not see come back around. So, yeah, when that moment came around, I literally shouted out, because he loves tractors! Like, you can attest to this. I literally said that. Because it hit me over the head in that moment. Oh my gosh! Full circle. Way to go, movie. Way to go, movie. And there's another one in here that comes back around that it kind of feels cheesy how it comes back around, but I didn't care because it was so cute. And it's another one of those ones that early on in this film, when you see it, and they even kind of comment on it a little bit, you go, yeah, that's got to be a thing that comes back around. And it worked. It 100% worked, I think. Also, I gotta say, I think that the zombie effects are pretty darn good here. This is a very low-budget film, but they did a lot with what they had. And I really enjoyed just seeing what all they did with the zombies. In fact, there's kind of a humorous thing that they do with them towards the end, but there's a lot of, like, running gags that they have with the zombies. Like, Miss Caroline, she has a bag full of supplies, and she, of course, has, like, a backup EpiPen for Nathan was his name, right?
I thought it was Kevin.
Kevin, might be Kevin. Okay. But she has a backup pin for the nephew in here. And as she is trying to get into the gift shop, a zombie comes up, grabs it, and pulls it off of her. And that zombie keeps popping up throughout the film, just walking around, like holding the thing in his hands. Every time I keep that zombie pop back up, I was like, it's nice. Like, never really got like a big chunk of it, but it was enough to be worth bringing back around. So yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, it's the small details.
It's the small details like that, yeah. There is one, though, that I might have missed it. There's this Asian family introduced at the beginning of the film. That they're the ones who drive up to the military base looking for directions.
Yeah. They were trying to go to the petting zoo.
They were trying to get to the petting zoo. And then they're like the first ones who end up getting attacked by the zombies, but one member of the family survives. Later on in the movie, there is a sequence where you see her running still. Like, she didn't go into the gift shop with them, but you do see her running away for help. Did she ever, like, come back around? I feel like I missed a scene in there.
I don't know. I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like I blinked or, like, went to the kitchen real quick and must have missed it because there is a shot in here, like, after we see her family get taken out, then we cut away to the rest of the story, go with that for, like, 20 minutes. Then we cut back to her, and I definitely remember her running, but it feels like there was no real payoff to that. Yeah, it was kind of a weird one. But yeah, I definitely recommend this film. I think this film is great. It had such a slow start to it, but towards the end of this thing, man, I cared about the characters so much. I think that it becomes an immensely better written script after the half-hour mark, and it is so heartwarming. Like, this isn't just a funny film. This is a film that actually makes you feel good inside. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. We'll talk about it in the spoiler section. But
which is weird. We usually don't do spoiler sections for Thorgiween.
But this is a new enough film.
Yeah.
It is a new enough film.
Yeah, like if the film is new enough and not known as well as much.
If it's one of those films where like, no, you need to go and see this, and there are easy ways for you to go and see this. And it's also fairly new, so a lot of you might not have seen it. Yeah, we try to hold off on spoilers, but not to talk about spoilers here yet, but the like last shot of this movie, I've just felt so good. I just felt so good at that last shot of this film. But yeah, seeing as how this is a fairly new film, I'll go ahead and give it a score too. I'm gonna give this like an 8.5.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. 8.5, 8. Yeah, like once again, like the beginning is pretty slow.
Yeah,
but,
like I'm actually going back and forth between 8 and 8.5 because that beginning is so like, I'm not enjoying this at all. But it's the end of a film that matters more in the beginning, I've always said. So yeah, time to go into spoiler stuff here for anybody who has seen this. When the nephew, when it opens up with him dressed as Darth Vader for the proposal scene, and he's trying to make the bottle cap move a scene later, and he's like, oh, I don't think my force is working, Mommy. I was like, there's going to be a scene where he needs to make something move with his mind. There's going to be like that Mallrats scene where like Silent Bob is just, and then at the end something does move and it goes, oh. There's going to be that thing. I know it's going to come. It comes when he goes to rescue a baby lamb, and all these zombies are like pouring towards the cage. And he just goes, and then the gate closes, which... Was it a mechanical gate? Like that is my one question. They never explained.
I always thought like the zombies were pushing against the door and unintentionally like shut themselves out.
No, because it closed before they got there. It closed while they were still walking up. It like just starts moving, which, yeah, that's like one of my few problems with this movie is that. What's the explanation for that? I mean, it can be explained. An automatic gate would do that. But what? Just give me like the shot, like the automatic like gate, like blinking or something in there. Like give me the shot, like the kid activating the automatic gate so he can open it up to go and rescue the baby lamb. Kind of sad that baby lamb didn't come back around and that like wasn't on the tractor with them there at the end.
Yeah. But I like to think it's still safe in the cage.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. Well, then again, if it was in the explosion at the end, who knows? Yeah, I kind of wish that like the baby lamb was there on the tractor with him there at the end. But yeah, at the end, they all load up onto the tractor and they're...
No, but like you forgot the Giggle Mobile.
Oh, that's all. Yeah, Giggles is one of the... Mr. Giggles is one of the...
Yeah, Josh's character.
Yeah, Josh's character is one of the worst... Again, our protagonist starts off being one of the worst protagonists I've ever seen in a horror film. And Josh Gad's character is solely there just to be like, I'm your ghost of Christmas future.
Yeah.
I'm the asshole you're going to become. So he's the even worse version. He is like abandoning them as soon as he gets the chance.
like he basically lies to the teacher, like, we can get the Giggle-mobile and I'll drive it over here and get the kids.
They were going to get the tractor, and he goes, that's a total shitty idea. You can't escape them on a tractor. We get the Giggle-mobile. There's an opening in the top where all the kids can pour into, and I got the keys. So he goes up there. David goes up there to try and help him, and Josh Gad goes running off. And he purposely stops. He doesn't need to, but he stops at the playground where all the zombie kids are just so he can beat the shit out of them. Just so he can work out his numerous personal demons. And then he goes in the Giggle-mobile and locks the door and is just like, oh, yeah, oh, I'm sorry. You thought I was going to help you? And then his, the puppet sidekick comes out and murders him.
Yeah, like the guy acting, not the actual puppet itself.
But the guy controlling the puppet,
Yeah.
Although you never really see the guy, you just see the puppet coming out and killing him. But here's a weird thing. He gets killed there in that car. You never, cut back to him, and it really felt like he was going to be the last shot of this film. Coming back to him, the burnt-out remains of the petting zoo, but the Giggle-mobile is tipped over, and then his hand just comes out. He, survived because he was in the Giggle-mobile. It really feels like they set it up to be a thing that you come back to, and you don't, so it did kind of feel weird. Like I said, I love the final shot of this film, but if there was ever a need for a post-credit last shot in a thing, they set that up, and it felt like it should have come back around. But, so he gets locked in there, but then the nephew comes in on the tractor, and as soon as he came out on the tractor, just went, he likes tractors! It's one of those things that when a thing goes full circle and comes back around that well, you gotta stop and applaud it. Oh, man. And again, because, they're at Pain Zoo. There's gonna be freaking tractors around. It makes sense. And it makes sense that this kid will like tractors because, kids like trucks and cars and trains and planes and all these other things. And automobiles. I love that sequence in there. And then they load all the kids into the tractor, and it's a great sequence of them bursting into the gift shop. Well, I freaking love that. Where they even burst through a big painting of a tractor. It's just such a small, little, tiny, charming thing to throw in there. They load the kids in. And then they go there, and again, you're talking about the little tiny details. When they're getting into the tractor, the zombie holding Miss Caroline's bag comes up and just goes, thank you, and just takes that out of his hand. It's such a little tiny thing that they did not need to come back. There's nothing in that bag at this point that she needs, but it's been a running gag they've been setting up this entire time. Comes back around. I love when stuff comes back around.
There's also a time thing going on, with the military.
Yes, because the military was going to nuke this thing.
Yes.
They were going to nuke the center of everything, which was the gift shop. So they've got them all driving away, which, by the way, another small, it's an adorable thing. All the kids grab toys from the gift shop. They all have stuffed animals from the gift shop, which, you look at the kids there, and you're just they have to be terrified. So these kids, just hugging these stuffed animals, it just makes you kind of, feel for them more. It just makes you go, we gotta save these kids, no matter what, they have to survive. And there's a sequence there, by the way, speaking of just charming moments in here, one sequence I love, it was when there was a little girl there and she couldn't go to bed without her mom tucking her in. So David and his nephew sing her this song, and David starts getting into it, I'll tell you what, might be better if she helps us out. Every time that I point to you, you say, go away. And
Monsters Go Away.
Monsters Go Away is the name of the song. And it's just this so adorable moment in there. And you think back to what this guy was like, an hour ago in this movie. But you buy that he is now this guy. It is great seeing him get to this point. And then he, reveals why he knows that song. And he talks about that a little bit more with the teacher. And you go, wow, this guy, you kind of get why he was an asshole at the beginning of this thing. So they're driving out here, and the zombies, it's a tractor, it's not fast. The zombies are keeping up with him, but...
By the way, not a big industrial tractor that you see on farms. We're talking about a smaller one.
It's a hayride tractor.
Hayride, yeah.
It is a hayride tractor. And the zombies, they're pretty close behind, and, which by the way, you keep talking about how Miss Caroline, she loves these kids so much. there's the one bully at the school. You're going, I want to play putt-putt golf. I want to play putt-putt golf. And there's a moment towards the end in which he is calling all the zombies there by screaming out they want to play putt-putt golf. And I expected her to slap the shit out of the kid.
Me too.
No, she keeps her cool. She's a great character in here. But it gets that moment in which it was like all hope is lost. The zombies are banging on the walls. And she has still been telling them all, oh, it's just a game. And this little girl looks up at her, like, in that moment where you can tell she is freaking out, but she's trying to keep it cool. And the little girl just goes, Miss Caroline, it's okay if we don't win. And man, that hurt. And because she has to look at the kid and smile like, yeah, I know, it's okay if you lose sometimes. But man, it hurts you in that moment because you know that the kid doesn't know that this is not a game. And she basically just had to look at the kid and nod and go, yeah, we might all die here. and this little kid just told me we might all die without the little kid knowing that's what they told him. But they're driving away on the tractor, and she's got her ukulele back out, and she's playing the song and singing the song to the little kid. She's singing, if you're happy, you know it, clap your hands. And then the zombies start clapping their hands. And then they start like testing it, and all the zombies start doing the happy if you know it stuff. And then they go, oh my God, we can control the zombies if we just sing a song to them. Meanwhile, cut to the military, they're all aiming their guns at the kids because they don't see the kids in there. They just see the guy on the tractor and he goes, he might be infected, we have to kill him. And as they get closer, they go, is that singing? And then all of a sudden they realize that they hear kids. And you want to talk again about a movie showing the U.S. from a country that is not the U.S. You're talking about a movie that is depicting the United States of America. There's a moment in which the general goes, damn it, I can't kill children again. And it's one of those jokes that like normally you wouldn't think about, but you also have to stop and kind of think, what are you trying to say, Australia? I'm not going to get into any of that, but it was kind of an interesting thing. I was like, oh, it's a funny little throwaway joke that kind of paints a darker past for him. Wait a second. Then you stop and you actually think about, oh, maybe they meant this thing. Ooh. It's one of those things that you know that joke would not be made by an American studio because it might be a little bit too dark. But a foreign studio is like, yeah, we don't care. You're not us. We'll make fun of you as much as we want. So they let the kids through. And then they're like, listen, we found out how to control the zombies. All you gotta do is just sing them a song. Fire. Blah, 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 blah. Just destroy them and goes, oh, or we could do that. Right. It's one of those things where it serves no purpose in coming up with the fact that they can control them with song, except to just be one final punchline. That's a pretty good final punchline. So yeah, I enjoyed that. But yeah, this thing ends with the kids being taken away by the military and the teachers being taken away. Then it cuts to all the parents there. It's like, what happened? And they basically just comes in and goes, your 2 teachers saved those children's lives that day. And they're like, 2 teachers? We only had 1. And then the sister realizes that David stepped up and David is finally being... that David is finally being the person they always should have been. And then the last shot of the thing, it's all of them singing Taylor Swift, which in the beginning of this, David could not stand Taylor Swift. He was on the bus listening to Taylor Swift with them going to Plainview, and he was being driven out of his mind. But in the end, it's, them with the ukulele, all swinging Taylor Swift, and all the kids like dancing up and playing and throwing their stuffed animals in the air. It's like, that is an adorable shot. And yeah, like all the parents come in and see them there, and it's just such a wholesome ending to a zombie film. And I can't think of another zombie film that has a quote-unquote wholesome ending.
We don't think of wholesome when we think of zombie movies.
But yeah, it's weird that this film, it's really bloody, it's really gory, and it's loaded with swear words. But goddamn, if you want to talk about like a zombie film that's going to make you like feel picked up, a zombie film that's just gonna make you feel good about the world, that's not, The Walking Dead or any of the other zombie films out there where it's like, mankind will fall apart and turn on each other as soon as the zombies start to rise up. But rather no, there's good people out there. The good people out there are gonna come together and protect other people out there. And we're all gonna get along and everything's gonna be okay. You want a zombie film like that? Goddamn, this one just does it 100%. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love this thing. Hello, plane outside. We were talking about a movie about the military coming in and then just big-ass helicopters coming in outside. I don't even know if you guys can hear that, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Mm-hmm. We have got, 2 more days?
I think so.
Horror Comedy Week, which means that next week is Viewer's Choice Week. I have not been getting as many Viewer's Choices this year as I got last year, And I think it's because I've been waiting until the end of every single video to let people know it's Viewer's Choice Week next week. So if you have a suggestion, leave it in the comments down below or contact me on Twitter at Professor Thorgy. Let me know your suggestion there. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Come back next time.
And happy Halloween.
Yes, she got it this time. Bye.
Bye.